Hey there, YouTube land. Big Dave here. This is part B. You know, I got all kinds of problem with this iPad. It just keeps hopping around. The case is no good. So we're talking about mouthpieces and if they're flat or not. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to use a couple tools here and just show you how we can talk about whether they're flat. So I already started with a Yamaha 4C. I used one of my favorite tools and I showed you I measure in a couple places, but however this one you're not going to see much of anything even as I tilt it, because this is really quite flat. Let's take another Yamaha. This is a baritone sax mouthpiece. I'm going to just eye it up with this tool, and you're going to see right away that there's space under there. And I'm trying to move it so that you can see the space. Let me just see if I can absolutely find the space. Okay, what it is the space is in the back. It kind of sticks out. And there it is. You can see almost the doorway through it, right? But I'm going to use another device. This is another straight edge. I'll use this. And I already know that this particular ruler, stainless steel ruler, has a very flat edge because I've already tested it a number of times in different ways. Some rulers are not, but this one is. Okay, so here it is, and the problem with this mouthpiece is that it slopes off in the back a little bit. It's not a big deal, but again, this is how this mouthpiece, this particular mouthpiece, is situated. I'm trying to see if I could get an angle on this where it's easier to see. You might be able to see that little space in the back as it goes down. It's very hard to see because it's so small, right? You have to take my word for it. But there is, I can see as I look at it. So let's take two current production Otto Links, and we're going to just check out the facings on here. Now, if I was actually going to, work with these mouthpieces or whatever and really check them out, I'm going to do a number of things, number of measurements and other kind of things, and mark it with a pencil and stuff like that. I'll start to mark the area with a lead pencil so I can see where exactly there's a high spot, a low spot, or whatever it is. So this particular mouthpiece, I already know that this mouthpiece is quite flat. In fact, it's very flat. So I'm going to put this on here, and you're going to see that there's really no airspace. It's basically almost dead flat. Okay? I'm going to try to move this so that you can see this is basically dead flat. Right? So that's not going to be a big concern on this particular mouthpiece, right? Now, this is an 8 STM. I'm going to take another one. Here's another 8 STM. Let's look at this one. Okay, now this is going to be hard to see. I'm going to try to get it in the thing, but right there is space in the middle, and this straight edge is sitting up on this peak here. I'll try it with this one and see if I can get a better. It's, you know what it is, the thing is that it's all slight. It's very small. It's hard to see this. But underneath the ruler, I'm trying to move it so you can see that light space. It's very hard. Okay? It's very hard. But there is a space there. Let me use this other one because this has a flatter bottom. Even though I don't like this particular one, but I think it'll be better for what we're doing here. You might see the space better. Okay, so there it is. You can kind of see air through there, right there. There is a space in the middle. Now the reason why this one is like that is because it has a peak in the back. Okay, so I have another video of another Otto Link that has the same thing. A lot of Otto Links are like this. Even some of the old ones that people are paying like a gazillion dollars for were the same thing. Some of them were even worse. I know. I refaced a whole bunch of them. And I redid the tables on, worked on them. And after a while, I stopped working the whole table. And I'm just going to show you something here. Now, here's a reed. This will give you a better example of what I'm talking about. Now, this reed, of course, is wood, so it's not dead flat. Let's get the ligature. And I'll show you exactly what I'm talking about. So here's the ligature. And I'm going to put this on very loose because I want to make a point. Okay, so here, underneath the... I'm trying to show you so we can see this. It's really hard to see. All right, let's move it. Let me just see if I can move it here. It's not so easy to do. All right, so anyway, there's an airspace that's pretty obvious underneath there. It's not so easy to see though. The point is, as I tighten this clamp, I'm going to go this way, see if we can see it better on this side. Yeah, not really. See, I'm explaining to you what's going on here, but it's not on the video. It's very hard to see. But anyway, there's a space underneath the reed. As I tighten this down, let's see how long it takes before I can tighten it down and get it to go away. Okay, so about a half a turn, or not even quarter of a turn, I was able to compress the reed so that it went down into that small gully and close off. You know what? You can actually live with that. And what it does is it puts a little springboard effect on the reed. And I'm telling you right now, a lot of Otto Links, lots of them were like this. If the reed gets really wet and starts to swell, there's more room also for it to have space. But this is a small example. I have another mouthpiece that I worked on that's on another video. And I took the peak off in the back with a file to bring that peak down and bring it more into regulation. So there's a slight relief in there. Now, here's the trick. In reality, these are both an 8 STM. And they're not touched. These are right out of the box. Okay, I have a lot of Otto Links here, for different reasons. Some I refinish and some, I sell to people that come here to see me, or we make up an Otto Link that's like what they want or something like that. But anyway, so these are just two I have here. At this point right now, which one plays better? Without question, the one that has the slight curve in the facing. So I wouldn't be in a big hurry to go and change that right now, because you put the reed on, the thing plays great. And the other one that is much flatter, it actually is more resistant and doesn't play as well. But there are other factors involved, of course. There are factors about the size of the window and the size of the tip and the way the tip is set. Also, the way the baffle is scored out. This one has a steeper slope on the baffle before it goes down. It's also narrower at the tip. And this one is wider at the tip. I'm talking about across. and it's not as pronounced in the edge here. So if I go back and take this particular tool that I have right here and put it back together, so this is goes in here. This is a caliper, and I'm going to slide this in, and I'll just show you on this one. I'll measure the inside space. Okay, so this is about 8 3/4 millimeters across up here. All right. This other one is about 9.5 millimeters across, up at the front of the window. These are two different generations. This is a newer one, and the tip is more beveled wide on this, and also the baffle. I'm going to touch the screen to see if I can get it to focus. It doesn't want to do it. Okay, but anyway, so this here, there's more room for the air right in the front of the mouthpiece, and it's possibly why it plays better. This one is more narrow, and it also has a higher baffle area. Well, let's see. I'm trying to focus on here, so that's just forgive my finger here. Nope, not going to work. Okay. Now we went all crazy. That's better. So this front area, there's a more pronounced baffle in here, and the throat, going down into the throat, is more narrow. I just told you the measurements. You know, one was like 8 3/4, the other was like 9.5 millimeters across. So that makes a difference. Also, I don't really have one here right now to show you, but if I was to drop a gauge down here, you could even drop a chapstick in there, you know. If I was to drop a gauge, a round gauge down into here, you're going to see that these two are different as the gauge goes down in. But you can just put a, you know, once you put the reed on and whatever, you could put a cork grease in there. It'll just drop right in, and you'll see that how far it goes down into the throat is longer on one than the other, and that matters also. So in another video I have where I took the peak off the end of the mouthpiece, I just hand filed that and took the peak down, and that's all that needed to be done with that mouthpiece. And then I used the board, I used my glass, and I did a slight run over just to double check everything and just balance it with very little pressure. Just you know, maybe 2-3 strokes just to see how it played out, and then I did my measurements, and it turned out to be absolutely fine. And then I worked the tip on that one too. That's another video, another time I'll talk about the tips. Okay, so this is about the tables. We're at 14 minutes. I'm sorry this is long and boring and you really can't see well. We're talking about minuscule stuff here. If I backlight this with a bright light and stuff, you know, it'll show up. But the idea is everything I told you, the information, you have the information. And it's stuff to think about. You'll see for yourself if you test a couple mouthpieces, but you need to have various straight edges. I mean, there's other kinds here too. I don't know where the big one is. Oh, here it is. But this is another one that I know on the millimeter side, this edge is extremely flat. Not on the inside so much. It's a little more flawed. So you do have to know what's flat and what's not. All right, so happy Sunday, and I'll catch you guys later. Bye-bye.